Hey there, guys. Good evening from Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's already evening. It's around 5 p.m. here in Dhaka. It's winter. Days are shorter. I came here to shoot one review and take few things from this house because I'm slowly shifting back. And as you guys know, I'm leaving this house perhaps this month or next month. I gave already 2 months notice, and I just wanted to do like a not morning thoughts episode. Maybe it's evening thought. Just talking randomly about fragrances. Some questions, some issues, and mostly I would say fragrance community, not community, fragrance related topics mostly, and some of the things that you asked from time to time. And I saw one video by Dan Norton, so he tackled one or a few topics. So yeah, so it is sort of a nice little cooler evening, and there's some noise. Okay, so this is a very noisy area. I do apologize for that, but mostly I hear this noise. You don't hear it because you through the mic it doesn't come off that bad. So anyway, first thing I would like to say, I'm wearing right now, I think Yopom Extreme is my scent of the evening. Also, I sprayed couple of sprays on my neck. Jean Paul Gaultier Lamal Elixir, great fragrance. And I'm enjoying mostly like the winter outings. There's a lot of programs happening. Tomorrow is our Victory Day of Bangladesh, 16 December. So there will be a public holiday. Yesterday was a public holiday. So I'm attending some events, watching some programs. I'm avoiding uh, like meetups and everything because I'm a little bit upset about a few things, and I want to stay away from people for a while. And many people, I think they know it in Bangladesh community. I don't know, for some reason, there's some just not okay. And you guys ask what's wrong, what's wrong. There's some personal matters. So I'm trying to just stay busy with my work, reviews, and my work means my Decant page and my channel. So I'm keeping it going. I have quite a few fragrances left to go. And I think the year is ending. So high likely, apart from the new Eros flanker that's out, maybe there's a new Hawas coming. I am not excited about many more, upcoming releases because I don't think they will release that many. But mostly, I'm excited about the year ending, New Year. Christmas is still up, like some of you be saying like, hey, do you celebrate Christmas? I celebrate everything. Any holiday is a nice thing because there's just no rush, no jam, and then peaceful and quiet. Most importantly, people can relax a little bit. So I do like the holiday vibes. I do like kind of like how to say lights and all that. Cities are nice. They look festive. So anyway, this kind of weather, the best thing is colder months. I do enjoy fragrances, and fragrances means you can wear heavier fragrance. I keep saying it, and they're winter specific perfume. So let's get into the topic. I think there are always a debate like, are fragrances season specific or gender specific, and are they safe blind buys and stuff like that? What are these things? So I'll just let you know my 2 cents. First of all, as Dan Norton was saying yesterday, I saw his video yesterday or the day before. He was saying, I don't really find any fragrances gender specific or season specific. Anybody can wear anything anytime they want, and that is the beauty of the game. Definitely people are people. They're going to be wearing what they feel like. They're going to be wearing in minus 40 degrees. They would be wearing Versace Purum because if they miss that DNA, that's absolutely fine because it's all about freedom. Without freedom, there's no fun. So I do think I do wear also some fresh fragrance, Nautica Voyage sometimes for morning walk. Sometimes I wear Kuros, but there are certain fragrances, I just don't want to impose on people. But I would feel, let's say, heavy weather, heavy cold weather, foggy. In general, I know most of my committee members, they would opt for something like oud, tobacco, leather, saffron, booze, this kind of a note, because these fragrances smell so nice in these colder months, and they actually develop very naturally and normally. You get to enjoy every single note, every single stage, rather than, let's say, Bentley for Men Intense. Just in my humble opinion, it's a great fragrance. It's a boozy fragrance, one of my Money in the Bank fragrance. I just call that Money in the Bank, and that fragrance is just so strong. In summertime, if I wear that, I get a headache. And let's say it's very hot and humid, 40 degrees Celsius. I would never opt for oud and rose, but many people will. They live for that oud and rose, man. They put fragrance attar and oil on their beard, on their jubba, on their dress, and they don't really bother for what other people are thinking about them. So for me, I pick fragrances based on my mood. Today I feel like wearing rose. Tomorrow I feel like wearing pure malt. There's no specific. Today I feel like eating pizza. Tomorrow I feel like eating steak, and then next day maybe just homemade food. So this is how human life is, you know. So fragrances very subjective, very for me. Fragrances are very like one person's taste is very different than the next person, even in the same family. The dad wears like Pakaraban Puram, the son wears Diorum Intense. Absolutely fine. But the what Dan Norton said, I think made a lot of sense, and you guys should, you know, watch that video. And this guy is very good. He has his own brand, and he's from UK. I think one of the OG reviewers in the community. So his discussions sometimes are a little bit clickbaity, like things about Jeremy and all. But I think it's we are all working for that. If you can get the views, if you can get, you know, you to be interested in watching content, there's absolutely fine. There's just nothing wrong with it. But let's talk about few things. For example, I think, oh man, there are some people already making so much noise. Okay, let me just tackle one other very important topic, which I always talk about. You know, above everything, there is honesty. If there is no honesty, there's just nothing. There's no point of doing anything in life. No work, no community, no groups, no, you know, like reviewing. Why is it so important? Like, if maybe, you know, I may say fragrance is so great. Sometimes I may say it's trash, but I say it with utmost dignity. Do you know why? Because it felt like that, you know, when I sniffed it. Either I'm so disappointed or I'm very happy. And usually, if you are new in this channel, you should know one thing. I am not sponsored. In Bangladesh, nobody sponsors anybody. Oh, wait, I have to close this. Yeah, this noise, huge noise. They just Bangladesh. If you've been here, only you'll know. Like there's this open thing as a mic. You know, there's play music, loud music. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. There's next building we have a mosque, so the azan was going on, so I took a break. So I was saying, you know, this point I keep repeating, that honesty. You know, like sometimes you feel like certain way about a fragrance. Okay, today you feel like I am such a big fan of this fragrance. This is my most reached out. You know, like Lamal, Le Parfum, or Elixir. Think of that. There's hype. But with time, reality is, you know, as new fragrances come out, we meet new DNAs, new hypes and stuff. We sometimes lose not touch. I would say sometimes we feel a little bit different for some older fragrances, and we don't use them as much like we used to before, and that's just very normal. But there are a lot of people, they never admit. You know, I just noticed in fragrance community, they get into the game like very new, and perhaps they use body sprays before it. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but this is what I notice with certain people, which I find a little bit funny. They use not even that designer fragrance, nothing. They just got few niche suddenly, and they just start to show like, hey, look at my hundreds of niche. You know, like I know fragrances. I don't think they understand. Sometimes they just see the hype. They have the money, they buy it, and they just think if I show expensive fragrances, I'll be a better frag head. I think personally, if you, I mean, haven't gone through like a few years, you know, I'm not saying that you have to go through thousands of perfumes, but a person, let's say, who's been collecting for 10, 15 years, and he has Nautica Voyage starting from that, Versace, Pura, Oud Noir, he knows every single brand. For example, I'll give you me as an example. I used and I reviewed whatever I could find from each brand, and I try to cover more brands. If you type any fragrance brand, let's say, if I have reviewed it, you'll see all the reviews one by one. And that's how I learn. You know, if you smell 10 fragrance, obviously you're going to be having idea like, oh, this fragrance smell like that, this fragrance is good for this, or it is similar, it's a dupe of something. You can instantly tell because you already are seasoned with many fragrance for many years. But the wannabes, you know, collecting wise, you know, better not be a wannabe, because there's no honesty there. You are trying to show people like, hey, I am, you know, such a expert on fragrance. But when people ask you randomly, let's on the spot, and they give you a blind test and just pray it and say, tell me what is this, it's amouage, maybe let's say reflection, but they cannot tell. You know, that's the time you'll know, like, you know, they just, you know, there's no real honesty there. So the second part I would say from the reviewers, Dan mentioned one thing, like there's nothing wrong with perhaps the newer reviewers, the community is still intact. Yes, a community is ever so changing, evolving, new people come, and it's not always about us like old people. Like we enjoyed our time in 2015, 16 doesn't mean that that's the community, or Robzoid, they're going to be like remaining forever. No such thing. But credit is where it's due, because that's where it all started. You know, I humbly keep saying it, like the whole bunch of reviewers, Max Forte, Sebastian Zara, Chad, Gentleman's Journey, Mark, Steven, all these guys, fragrance bros. You cannot deny, if you do not know your history, guys, if you do not know where it came from. For example, in Bangladesh, the community, there's a huge now. A lot of people are interested in perfumes. A lot of new kids came, and there's some reviewers reviewing. But many of the people do not know where the community started. So if you claim like, oh, I'm the community, I started the community 2 years back, so I am the one who's founding father of this, it's not going to change the history, it's not going to change the facts. So I still have deep respect, and I do have respect for newer reviewers, influencers, TikTok, Instagram, whoever is spreading the spark among people, new people who are getting into perfumes. It's all helping. But there's other side, there is this commercial side, because fragrances are commercial products. And some companies, mostly, they reach out to biggest influencers who have big names, big subscriber base, and they give them free bottles even sometimes before its release. And there's a big debate, like, is that right, is that ethically right? Because these people are going to take the perfume, and most of them will say it's a 9 or 10, because they cannot say anything else. This is where the issue is. As a viewer, you should know, even if I'm reviewing something is sponsored or someone gifted it to me, you know how difficult it is. Let's say Steven sent me his perfume, I review this with utmost respect. But if I go say, man, it's trash, imagine, like, he's my friend Steven, I consider him as my fragrance community friend through reviewing. Even Mark, if let's say Mark released something and I think it's like really horrible or something like not my taste, I'm not going to say like, oh man, something, it will hurt his emotion. I have to be, not diplomatically correct, but at least polite, be courteous. So that's one thing. But let's say company, like, most of the reviewers, they are doing this right now, Middle Eastern companies. Most of the reviewers are now based in Dubai. Many female reviewers, some of the hyped ones, they are working with these brands. There's nothing wrong with working with the brand, but if there's a promotion, let's say there's new release, and they gave it to them, and they gave them a paycheck, okay, and they're supposed to say it's a beast mode, it's a masterpiece, it's a dupe of something, but in reality it's none of that. It's not long lasting, it's not that good, but you still say it's 10 out of 10. That's where the problem lies, and that's where serious problem lies. I would definitely stick to that point, because if you are going to take money and say something is good when it's not really that good, and people will buy it and see it, they will lose confidence in you. If you're a real content creator, if you're really not like an influencer, if you're just a very passionate fragrance reviewer, you will not be able to do it, right? So there are pros and cons. There are a lot of things that you do not see. You see sometimes some reviewers shelf, you see in front there are 10 different fragrances. One of the reviewers told me, who's also a big reviewer, he told me, like, how much they charge to show those fragrances in the, in front or behind them, just to showcase. They take thousands of dollars from companies. So when people see the influencers having this, let's say Versace Eros or something like Armaf or Rasas, anything, and it's a new release, sometimes the companies pay them to do it. So this is marketing, right? So advertising is one thing, real reviews is another thing. Let's say I got the same fragrance, I gave House Black 10, and another reviewer gave House Black 10, but I did not get it for free. I spent my money to get it, and I tested it, and I felt that way. But imagine he got it for free, and then the company said, just hype it up because you already have the numbers and you have the popularity. Uh, if people feel the same way, there's nothing wrong with it. But let's say certain fragrances are not 10 out of 10, and then you buy it and you see it like, oh my God, it's way overpriced. 9 p.m. Rebel, some of you ask me, why you pay so much? Because that's the amount I am charged here. I have no other option. Okay. So perhaps it's $35 in Dubai, but it's $65 here. Maybe they are over profiteering. Maybe they are buying this for more. Happens, but the overall, like, situation, it's not the same in every country. Certain countries, like say New Zealand, Australia, fragrances are so expensive. My friends go there and say, man, Singapore, Brunei, I cannot find anything cheap. They're so much more expensive than Bangladesh. See, so there are issues in different places, like duty free, for example. You get obviously original fragrances, but when you come back, there is a downside. You cannot go back to duty free next day if there's something wrong, or bottle has a fault, or bottle is how to say, faulty. You cannot change it, you cannot get discounts, you cannot get it for cheap, right? But the whole point of fragrance game is honesty. If there is no honesty, if people are like, oh my God, I got like this, if I wear this, I get like 50 girls per night, I get like 2 3 compliment in every 2 minutes. you you do not see this in real life. Nobody compliments you. Does anybody compliment you? I do compliment personally people. Like when I, for example, 2 nights back, I was having a cup of tea with one of my friends near my area, and this one guy came with a big car. He looks like rich, he's wearing suit, and he just came to have a smoke. We can, in Bangladesh, they sell cigarettes separately, like one, two, we can buy three, four, not the whole pack. And he came perhaps to just stop by and buy a cigarette, and his family was in the car. And it was nice breeze. It was like the intersection, so breeze was flowing, and I smelled something very familiar. It smelled like Aventus cologne or something I know. And he was standing there for 5-10 minutes, and in the end, when he was leaving, I just remember what it was. I asked him, like, excuse me brother, if you don't mind, are you wearing Rojada Velicium? And he's like, he was so shocked because he doesn't know me and he's a total stranger in Bangladesh. It's not the culture you approach people, And he was always like, yeah, yeah. How do you know? Who are you? And I was like, I'm just like a random guy, just collect perfumes. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. He was like, he had this smile, he could not believe I, So anyway, so it's nice, but culture is different, different countries, like some of you just see different reviewers. They are well off. This is not their main job. For me, YouTube is my main job. I do work here, and it's a constant grinding, like I do not take breaks, and I do play different roles. I do decanting. I started this and I have to work with that, orders and all. That's one part of my day. Another is this YouTube. Then I have Fragcomm Bangladesh, which is the interest page. I had a perfume marketplace Bangladesh, but I closed it because it's too much work. But playing different roles can be very challenging. People just see your posts. They don't see the work behind it. They don't see what you have to think, before create a content, what you have to buy. So many reviewers don't play those roles. They just do reviews once or twice a week, whereas I do three, four, five upwards sometimes, per day. And I don't do this for appreciation. I do this for my own happiness. This is what I do. At this point, I will tell you, for 6 years I worked without, you know like payment or monetization. It didn't bother me. I keep doing it. I keep buying fragrances, whatever I find cheap, designer, niche, clone, non-clone, whatever. But I keep doing this, because I believe in it. One day, if I don't find interest, I'll stop this. Maybe if this is no longer a profitable work or earning me money, perhaps I'll stop. I don't know. Okay, but the certain comments like, he cannot afford this nice house, he can. Man, if you're so concerned about nice house, buy me a nice house, buy me a nice car, finance me, sponsor me, or send me like a paycheck. Then that will be fun. But you're watching this for free. Like social media. It's fair to say. Sometimes some things are fair from me, some things are fair from you. Let's say I'm doing this content. Nobody's putting a gun to your face like, hey, watch this, and forcing you to watch it. This is your choice. If you don't like the content, if you don't think I find everything pleasant, and you're still watching it, that means you like my content. So, and I take credit if I get a viewership, if I earn $5 from you. I have nothing hard feelings, and I feel like, hey, if I'm still being watched, despite all the bashing that I get, I cannot be perfect. I cannot be good looking like Jeremy. I cannot be a white dude, because I'm brown guy. I am from Bangladesh. I have limited resources. I have all these problems, health issues and everything. I cannot do. But do you ever see me? Hey guys, I'm sick. Send me like a medical fund so I can just feel better. I'm blinded in one eye. I do not see well with my left eye. I have like all blurry, because of diabetes, I guess. I don't say, guys, hell, I need help. I'm carrying on with my life. I have uric acid problem, this, that, and then life is gonna end one day. It's fine. I am okay with it. I don't expect people to help me or take me to Dubai and then make me like a life. I don't do that. I believe he is the supreme power. If I am going to do good work, I'll receive according to my, what I deserve, right? So this is how I feel, and there must be some sort of honesty and dignity about the reviewers. Whatever they do, whatever make a content, it should not be a dishonest. Whatever matter that is, it's not about a fragrance only. If they just want to attack someone, but they're saying, hey, it's not personal, but it is personal, right? So at least mention it. If you are going to say something but you don't mean it, there's just pointless. It's wasting your time, other people's time. So if it's a bitter or sweet reality, let it be a reality, let it be truth. That will be fun. And I think sometimes we do go through, I accept it, hardship, going through end of the year, no business, nothing. It's fine. I'm trying to chill and trying to see the better things in life. I'm feeling much better, not as sick as before. So keep me in your prayers. Thank you so much for all your love. And just want to talk randomly sometimes. And I just want to say, from day one, if you supported me, watch me, and those people like my friend Victor, who keeps always supporting me. A lot of this, Lisa, these members we have, and the checkout on me, Gabe, these are people I always cherish. These are people who made me who I am. Carlos Colom, these are the guys, and a lot of these channels who have been watching me. Thank you so much for like, I would say, taking care of me, and people who watch me and gave me your viewership, your time, made me who I am. The silver play button, the 5,000 videos that I am almost about to be reaching. It's all your credit, right? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this happen. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And I will just have an only request: do what makes you feel happy. If you don't like fragrance anymore, take a break. No problem. There's no force. If you do not enjoy this, if it's a force, it's a competition, it's a race, then it's no longer fun. You cannot buy possibly everything, isn't it? Right. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice day. I think I'll go for a little bit of a evening walk, enjoy some tea and some maybe kebabs and stuff. Okay. See you soon. Hopefully you'll enjoy the review that I did, which is called Poker Face by Ted Lapid. It's an interesting one. See you soon. Good night now. Dhaka, Bangladesh.